Well, hello and welcome to, I am reading now, it's our 27th episode, Ryan. That's pretty cool, of our podcast, Dela-Where. And it's about all things specifically special to Sussex County. We always have clients asking us questions about what do you do when you move to Sussex County? So we're going to solve that problem, aren't we, Ryan?
We are. And you'd think after 27 we'd know what we're doing by now. But
we're still wondering. So we have an amazing human that I met at Rotary. His name's Patrick Carey. I got to listen to him at one of our Rotary meetings at Southern Sussex Rotary, and it is so fascinating. It was all about beekeeping, and I'm going to say it wrong. It's Carey Apiary?
Yeah.
Right. So it rhymes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Carey Apiary.
Yeah.
And so Patrick is here with us today, and we're going to learn all things bees, buzzing bees today. So Patrick, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think the best way to start is to find out who you are, where you came from, and how you got to Frankford, Delaware.
Okay, great. My name is Patrick Carey, the owner of Carey Apiary. An apiary is a bee yard, by the way, so it's a yard with more than one beehive in it. So that's the
awesome.
term for referencing for that. And I just kind of said it one time when I was coming up with a business name, and I was like, well, it kind of works. I guess that's what we'll do.
You could do a little Dr. Seuss rhyme.
Yeah, Carey Apiary, there it is. So born and raised in Fenwick Island, grew up here my whole life. Surfer, went to college down in Florida. Wasn't really my thing. Studying wasn't what I was looking for, or at least not the direction that I wanted to pursue. And came home, went to work, and I was in a management position for 24 years for a local company here in Dela-Where, and it wasn't the life I wanted to live. Started to get depressed, despite building a family and trying my best at what I was doing. But I unfortunately started drinking myself to death and didn't really, couldn't see what was happening in my life until everything fell apart. And at the end of that process, somewhere along the lines, my wife and I, we found a nice property in Frankford, Delaware. It's just over 5 acres. And we purchased it, and she wanted to know why I wanted 5 acres. And I said, just wait. So I planted what's called a food forest. So we've got everything growing in our yard that you can grow to produce fruit in the state of Delaware. So, apples, peaches, cherries, persimmon, every type of fruit.
I didn't know persimmon grew in Delaware.
Yeah, it's native. The American persimmon is native to our region. I even planted pawpaw, which is kind of cool to see if we can get them to grow. But nothing with fruit. We're surrounded by farmland, so despite what's going on, there wasn't enough pollinators. So that's what I had the conversation with my wife 6 years ago. I said, I think I need to get some bees for the land. And she said, are you crazy? We're having children. And
I've always wanted an active beehive with my young children.
Yeah. So she said, no way. And a normal Friday night for me was a 6-pack of IPAs, and woke up on the couch in the morning with a terrible headache and checked my email, and I had purchased bees in a blackout. So
wow.
For me, that's where
It's not funny, but looking back, it probably is more amusing than when it actually happened.
Yes. It certainly was hard to explain, but now the way that life's turned out, I think it was kind of how my higher power snuck something in there for me, for my life. So it was very hard the first 2 years. As you could imagine, it was a lot of bee stings, mistakes, not zipping up the suit, and really a lot of failures. But somewhere around year 2, I got 40 pounds of honey, and I sold out in 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, okay, there's something.
How many bees does
here.
it take to make 40 pounds of honey?
That was 3 colonies. In Delaware, in general, each colony will make around 40 pounds of honey per year.
Okay.
So right now I've got 100 colonies, so potentially 4,000 pounds of honey.
Wow.
The goal is to get to 1,000 colonies.
Wow.
That's kind of, the market here is really hungry. And the market in the U.S. is actually really, really hungry.
Yeah.
The U.S. consumers consume about 600 million pounds of honey per year.
How much of that is actual honey versus what we buy in the store, which I thought was fascinating. What we buy in the store is a very processed, watered down version of what you do.
Yep. That's what I was hitting at. So American consumers consume about 600 million pounds of honey, and the American beekeepers are only able to produce about 100 million pounds.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's actually a huge deficit, and it's about 500 million pounds, and that's being exploited by other governments, other nations. Try not to name anybody, but there is one in particular who is harvesting honey in the nectar form, because the bees produce nectar much faster than they produce honey. I mean, they're collecting nectar, they're producing honey, so when they bring the nectar in, this particular nation is harvesting the nectar, and then they're drying it in a factory, and they're adding synthetic pollens to it, and then they're exporting it into the United States and driving down our honey prices and filling that gap in the market.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Yes. I never knew that.
Yeah, about 90% of the honey on the U.S. market is what we call funny honey.
Funny honey.
That's an easy way to remember it.
Yeah, so it's adulterated honey.
Yeah. Because I've always seen the benefit. Like what I've always heard is you want to get local honey because it helps with your allergies. Because I have horrible allergies. That's what I've always heard. But
yeah, for sure.
That's interesting that it's not even really real honey.
Yeah.
Outside of the local stuff.
Yeah, we always want to know your beekeeper. If you can, the best thing I can say is know the country of origin when you're purchasing the honey. As long, if it says produced in the United States, it's going to be real honey because we have real regulations. But if it's coming from somewhere like Brazil or Vietnam or Canada, I would be very leery because of who they trade with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So the other thing, I was fascinated by so many things that I learned, and I probably didn't learn them deeply enough. This is why we have to do the podcast, so I can listen to it again and actually learn.
Yeah.
The lifespan of a bee, and talk about the queen bee. And you always hear about queen bee. I mean, it's kind of it's a saying now, right? She's the queen bee. Yeah. And so tell me where that came from and how you become a queen bee, and then what do all the other bees do and how long they live, and give us a little history of bees.
Yeah, for sure. So start with the queen bees. It's kind of a misconception that a lot of people have is thinking that the queen bee is a leader of the colony per se, where she's actually more of an egg-laying factory. She actually doesn't even feed herself. She doesn't groom herself. Her sole job is to lay eggs, and she's got what are called nurse bees. We refer to this particular job for the nurse bees as the royal retinue.
Oh.
They're like a round table kind of knights that follow around the queen. And you can actually regulate the queen's health by the number in the retinue of her attendants. Will tell you how healthy the queen is.
So the more she has, the worse she's doing? Or
the better she's doing.
Better. I was about to say she's really sick all of the troops.
No, if there's nobody really around her, then there's a problem going on with the queen.
Oh, gotcha.
Because they're not wanting to tend to her.
Uh-oh.
Is there something that...
It's not a very good nurse.
You might have been getting to this, but is there something that happens if something's wrong with the queen bee and she ends up dying?
Yes.
What happens?
Yes. So lots of questions. We'll circle back to everything.
Yeah.
So if the queen dies, they can make a new queen.
Okay.
What makes a queen is the diet during its development. Every bee starts as an egg, then it turns into a larva. When it's a larva, they're being fed by the nurse bees, and they're being fed royal jelly. Royal jelly is something that's secreted from a bee's body. It's only secreted for a certain number of days, so a nurse bee is only a nurse bee for a certain number of days. They're feeding the larva, and every larva gets fed royal jelly, but a queen bee larva gets fed royal jelly its entire development.
Oh.
A worker bee will be about 3 days. The queen is about 7 or 8. And that's what makes the difference. The queen bee can live up to 3 years. She's bigger. She's an expert at flight. And she develops ovaries. She's a little bit of a different bee. She also has a different anatomy where her stinger is a straight stinger. There's no barb, so that she can sting over and over.
Oh, interesting. Because a regular bee, if they sting you, they're...
Yep, barbed like a fishing hook.
Yeah.
So the queen bee needs that for battle. So if there's ever 2 queens present, they will fight to the death, and she has to have a removable stinger.
I'm so glad I wasn't born a bee.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more I learn about bees, the more I respect them, though.
Yeah.
They've got
they're
quite a little
fascinating.
setup.
They are, yeah. And so then back to the general worker bee. Let's say, they're just an egg that turns to a larva that's fed the royal jelly for 3 days. That will become a worker bee. And a worker bee will develop in 21 days from egg to development. And then from that time, she goes to work every single day. Day 1, she comes out, she cleans the area around her, and she starts to explore the nest while cleaning. And day 5, she will transition into a different job. She'll become a nurse bee, and that's the time when she's secreting larva food from her head. She can only do that for a couple of days. At day 8, she begins secreting wax from her belly. So that time she's a wax builder bee. So that's what they make the nest of, beeswax. And then from about 11 to 18, she's doing some transitioning to nurse bees, tending to babies, kind of cleaning things. And at day 18, she starts exercising her wing muscles. The older bees, about 22 days old to 40, are the foragers. They're the most experienced, and they're also...
So experienced at 22 days.
Yep, and they're expendable, which is kind of crazy to think, but... They're the older bees, and it's a very dangerous job foraging. So they're nearing the end of their life anyway. So they're the ones who are going out and doing the hard job.
Because the humans are swatting at them.
Yeah,
Or spraying them with Raid.
Yep. And there's things called crab spiders who are waiting on flowers. So when the bee lands on the flower, they just get snagged by a spider. So it's a very, very dangerous job.
Wow, these are... I really don't want to be a bee.
Yeah.
So the queen bee, meanwhile, is in there laying eggs.
2,000 eggs per day.
And she lives for up to 3 years.
Up to 3 years. Oh my God. Yeah, and that production...
That's a long time to lay eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, the production will fluctuate depending on the nectar. So in the wintertime, when they're not collecting anything, she's not laying that much.
Right.
And there's actually a month or two where she's not laying at all.
Oh,
so she does get like a rest period. But this time of year, when there's nectar coming in, pollen coming in, she's producing 2,000 eggs a day.
Wow.
Do bees sleep?
They do. They show signs of sleeping. Yeah. I read a recent study that they think it's a similar amount of time to what we sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Snoring bees.
Yeah.
I wonder if they sound different than buzzing bees.
Yeah. You can see, not honeybees, but bumblebees, you can see sometimes resting on flowers. And so they'll be napping on a flower, which is kind of cute.
Aw.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So at 40 days, that's their lifespan is 40 days?
Yeah, about 40 days, 40 to 50 days for a worker bee. A lot of them much less than that, but yeah. And they won't die in the colony. Honeybees are super hygienic. They're very well-kept colony and insect. So when it comes to that last day, they go on the maiden flight and they don't come back. So they know that.
Oh, wow.
And they don't want to burden the colony by, decomposing in there.
So they just leave.
It
So they
seems
just leave and
incredibly
don't come back.
advanced for a little tiny
For being
insect.
40 days old.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
very mature in their development.
They are, yeah. Evolution on
Higher
a
thinking.
crazy scale because, they're really, really good at foraging. I mean, and somewhere along the line in their evolution, they don't have as much connections in their brain as obviously as human beings do. So they kind of skipped over immunity. One of the things that they skipped over, they have very weak immune systems.
Oh.
So they actually go out and they forage for a substance called propolis, which is tree saps and resins, and they bring it back. This is an antifungal, antimicrobial properties to it. Because,
wow.
If you hit a tree, has a wound, it'll
Weep on you.
weep sap. Yeah, so that's how it's trying to heal. So the bees are off looking for these resources, and they're collecting them and bringing them back to the nest, and then they'll put what we call propolis envelope throughout the entire box where they surround themselves with an antifungal, antibacterial substance.
Oh, wow.
And that's how they stay safe, is by collecting things from the environment. And that's how they fight
So
disease.
do certain foragers go after the pollen and certain foragers go after the sap? Like they all have a specific, like you're a pollen dude and you're a
Yep.
sap girl and...
Yeah. And there's so it'll be pollen forager, nectar forager, water forager. The propolis collectors are doing their thing, and some of them are messing up. Some of them, in cities, they've actually found bees that are accidentally collecting asphalt
Oh, jeez.
Looks very similar to tree sap. Oh. But in apitherapy, that's something I'm certified to treat people with bee medicine, and it's advised to not use products from City Life because we don't know what
What's
they may
in
have
there.
accidentally collected.
Right.
You might be,
So since you collected your first colony, you have gotten quite some some really good certifications, because you just touched on that. Like
Yep.
I was really cool. I didn't even know you could get all the certifications, but you have some really specialized certifications.
Yeah. So I started out when things were rough, and for some reason I fell in love. There's a bit of a buzz about a bee colony that is very calming. It's actually been shown to be very similar to a cat purring. It can lower your blood pressure. So somewhere along the line, I got hooked, and I took a Beekeeping 101 course, which is just a general beekeeping course. And then I took a Beekeeping 201 course, and that was, helped me. I started to realize a little bit about what I was doing. But the gentleman who was teaching that course was what was called a Master Beekeeper. And when he introduced himself, I just immediately was like, that's what I want to be. So I found a Master Beekeeping course. It's through the University of Florida. It's a 5-year program. I was able to test into that and skip a year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then
For somebody that didn't want to study when he went to college the first time.
Exactly. You could just find your direction.
You found what you wanted to study.
Because bees weren't at Flagler College.
Right.
If only I had known.
Right.
But yeah, so now November I will be fully certified Master Beekeeper from University of Florida. The coursework is done.
That's
It's
awesome.
just a date. I have to wait on them to say, here, you're good.
That's amazing.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and then they require you to do other certs. So the apitherapy certification was for that.
So talk a little bit about what the apitherapy certification means.
Yeah, apitherapy is it was a class teaching me how to use other products from the hive, such as propolis. That's one of the best ones. So, obviously, bee venom. Bee venom has a lot of research and being used against a lot of different diseases, even major ailments like MS and Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
So I have a couple patients that I'm working with bee venom therapy, and I'm making propolis tinctures and some cosmetics with propolis in it that will be nourishing, and I have to watch my wording because the FDA actually regulates all that. So as an apitherapist, we have to play the roundabout.
Yeah, like
of
the
staying
homeopathic
safe.
type.
Exactly. Yeah. So making products that certainly can help the body heal itself.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So you're in the kind of the new stage of doing some of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was talking to Lou earlier about the propolis was actually in World War One. It was referred to as the Russian penicillin.
Oh.
They would stuff it into gunshot wounds, and the people would actually survive.
Oh,
because
interesting.
it's an incredible substance, and it's used in dentistry because it's antifungal and antimicrobial. So if you pack it into a toothache, it actually absorbs the infection out, and then when you remove it from your mouth, you literally physically remove the infection.
That's incredible. I have no
Is that
idea.
obviously it's also there's a business. So where can people find you, and what can they get from you? Because it's not just honey. There's some other things that I understand that you sell.
Yeah. So all my products are handmade. The honey's raw. It's right here from Sussex County. You can get it from my farm. I'm just over 5 acres, so I'm technically a real farm, working farm. So you can come right to the house and see where the bees are and get the products. Or you can find me at a local farmer's market during the season. And there's some retail locations selling my honey. But I make a leather conditioner, a dog paw balm, a hand salve, a lip balm, various other things with the beeswax, because a portion of my business is bee removal. So I have a lot of wax. So I'm always working on more products to kind of bring to the market and see which one hits. My leather conditioner is not one I'm letting go because I use it on my own boots, but the market seems to, nobody really wears leather anymore. It's kind of interesting. It doesn't sell great, but it's an incredible product, so I'm not getting rid of that one. You'll always
keep
see the
going,
leather
yeah.
conditioner.
You need to take it down to Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I use it on my boots, so that one's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
you started with the 5 acres. You wanted basically a fruit farm. Have the bees helped that fruit farm, or is that kind of gone away?
So my direction in business has kind of changed.
Yeah.
But the fruit farm, I mean, the apples, the trees are incredible. If you came over and took a walk, you would be kind of blown away. Back to the queen laying 2,000 eggs a day, and then the length of a bee's life being around 40 or 50 days. If you do the math on that, you have about 1,500 bees dying per day in peak season. So when I bring a bee colony to a property, I call it beautifying, because you're not only benefiting from the pollination, but you're also getting all of the fertilization from the decomposition of the insects who are going out and dying.
Right.
So the property, my wife last year actually, I did a surprise for her. It was dark, and I covered her eyes up and walked her into the apiary and opened her eyes, and the lightning bugs were just like fireworks. And she was like, "Oh my God, look at what you've created."
That's so cool.
So we're seeing the environment just kind of restore itself with the help of bees.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Now, you also take your bees to local farms, or maybe not even, they're not all local, are they?
Right now they're local because
You can rent a bee.
So I've got a couple different programs. I work with local farmers like Bennett Orchards and McGee Farms. I've got some bees over there doing pollination right now. So they have my bees on site. The minimal benefit for crop pollination is an 18% yield increase.
Oh, wow.
So
that's pretty impressive.
And that's
the low end.
That's the low end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on which crop they're being put into, it can be a much bigger yield. So farmers use beekeepers to help with their production. I'm working with those two farms right now. Hopefully that'll continue to grow. And then I also have a rent a hive program for people who like bees and like the concepts that I'm talking about. And I bring a bee colony to your property, set it up, and then I maintain it. You have the bees on site, and you become a family member of the business, so you get everything at a discounted rate. And then at the end of the season, I take the bees home, so you don't ever have to worry about it. They're all maintained by me, but you get the benefits of having bees.
What size property do you need to feed a bee colony? I mean,
the bees, they're going out 5 miles in a
okay.
radius. They efficiently forage from 1 to 3 miles. But if they can't find anything, they'll go all the way out to 5.
Wow.
And if you think the math
That's a
on
long
that,
day.
it's 8,300 acres that they're covering. Oh my God. So it's just...
They're like doing an Ironman every day.
Yeah, every day for 40 days, and then they die.
No wonder. Yeah. now I understand.
Yep. So the size of the property really doesn't matter.
It doesn't, okay.
We just want to make sure that there's a water source nearby. But I have a client, she's actually my own accountant, and she's got a nice property over in Millsboro area. It's not acres and acres, but she made 50 pounds of honey last year.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like really depends on what is in the surrounding area.
That's incredible. So does a bee have a territory? So I know the queen bee stays in the little nest, but do the foragers then fight? Like if they're from a different colony, do they know they're from a different colony? And do they fight?
Yes. Yes. The easy answer is yes. Good questions. A queen has her own pheromone. That pheromone is like a smell, a scent. We have pheromones, but we cover ours up with deodorant. They have their own biochemical scent, and that retinue of bees that I mentioned is traveling around with the queen, taking care of her.
Right.
And that pheromone is passing off to this group of bees. And as they move through the colony, that pheromone passes off to more and more bees. And it travels throughout the colony so that everyone in each colony has their own queen pheromone, their own smell. And if somebody else comes in, they're dead.
They're intruders.
Yeah. So we call that drifting in the industry.
Okay.
So one colony, like too close to another colony, they can drift from colony to colony. But a worker bee will be killed if she goes into the wrong colony. Now a drone, which is a male bee, is a little bit different.
Okay.
They're allowed to come and go from different colonies. And that comes down to their anatomy and their biology. Their whole sole purpose in life is mating. So they go out on a mating flight. The further that they can travel, the further their genetics can go.
And spread.
So if they accidentally go into another colony, it actually allows them to eat some honey, recoup, and then go even further and spread their genetics even further into the environment. So drones are allowed to drift.
Oh, wow.
How does
Little girls have to stay put.
Yes.
How would the colony know? Because if the male bee, he would still smell like.
Yep. He would still smell.
But is
Like
it
his
just
home-
because
like
he's
his
a
home
male,
base.
they kind of understand?
yeah, because he looks different.
Okay.
Yeah. A male bee has much bigger eyes, and no stinger, a round body.
Did you say no
wings.
stinger?
No stinger, a round body.
I would like those ones.
Yes.
Can I just have the no stinger bees, please?
Yeah. Earlier, I mentioned my son in the apiary. He actually likes to collect the drones because they don't sting. So that's what he's doing over there. He's over there collecting drones and hook them back with a pocket full of drones because they're like his little buddies.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're different.
amazing.
They have a little bit more difference in their development. It doesn't come down to the diet. It actually comes down to whether or not it's a fertilized egg that the queen lays. An unfertilized egg would be a drone bee, and that will take 2 more days to develop. So it's 23 days, and then their lifespan is actually a little bit shorter because it's kind of more about flight and flying around and making mistakes because they're a little bit.
Boys are
adventurous.
slower learners, so that does make sense.
Yep.
I'm going to get in trouble for that. Lou's going to cut me out.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about how many times a day you're stung.
Oh yeah.
And it just kind of, the pain never goes away.
No, the
But-
pain never goes away from the sting, because it's a stinger. And since we're on the stinger, the difference between a queen, a worker, and a drone is the ovipositor, which is the egg-laying apparatus, is an evolved stinger. So that's why the male bee doesn't have a stinger, because it doesn't have an ovipositor.
Okay.
So that's why the workers and the queens do, because they have the stingers, and that's how the queen lays her eggs. So yeah, you never get used to the sting of it's a real needle sticking you. So you feel that, and
And then it sticks in you because it's barbed.
and then the venom sac continues to pump. I have videos online where you can actually see the venom sac pumping into my hand, and then up to 3 minutes is where you're getting all the full dose of venom. And that's where you get the reaction. There's something in the bee venom that's called melatonin, and that is something that is actually breaking down cells in our body to allow the venom to travel further. So then the longer that it's releasing the venom, the more damage, the more reaction that's going to happen from your body. So when
Gotcha.
you're stung, you always remove the stinger as quickly as possible.
Get it out.
Yeah, and the best thing for a bee sting is actually a little drop of honey.
Of course.
Of course. Why wouldn't
Why
it be?
wouldn't you need honey on hand?
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, because of all the qualities you talked about.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that you had mentioned, you get stung a lot because bees kind of recognize you.
Yeah, bees have been shown to recognize faces, so they know who the keeper is. And for me, going in there and kind of breaking apart their homes, they know when I'm coming.
It's not like a dog when you get home.
No.
They're not excited to see you.
Yeah, and they're showing me signs too. An aggressive colony is trying to tell me something. A lot of times, if their queen has died, they become very aggressive.
Oh, really?
They're just having a bad day. And they'll show you. Yeah, they'll show you the bad day.
Yeah.
But when you're being stung by bees, there's actually, you never know, an anaphylactic reaction is always one sting away. And you never know, even as a beekeeper, I have an EpiPen in my truck because I'm not allergic, but you can actually become allergic at any time in your life.
Oh, interesting.
And you're either working towards immunity, or you're working towards like your own death, like meeting your maker. And the window, they say, for anaphylactic reactions is between 2 stings and 10 stings per year. Those are the people who have the reactions.
Oh, okay.
So they say if you're going to get stung once or get stung hundreds of times.
Right.
So I'm on the spectrum of hundreds of times. Yeah, trying to, So it's not like I'm doing it on purpose. Obviously, I'm not trying to hurt my bees, but there is a little bit of immunity buildup that I need
Just in case.
for being in there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you talked about when you were at Rotary, you talked about the queen bee. If they know she's sick, would they take her out of the hive? Was
Yeah.
there something like that? Or
Yeah,
am I
for sure.
misremembering?
No, you got it right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so that retinue going back, the queen, she has that pheromone they actually will notice if she's got less of a pheromone. That pheromone comes from her secreting the eggs. So when she's laying the eggs, she has a strong sense of, it's actually called the queen mandibular pheromone. It tells everybody in the colony that everything's all right. So if she starts laying less and less eggs, her nurse bees notice, and they'll say, okay, something's wrong with mama. And they really don't think about her as mama either. It's just like something's wrong with, that
The egg-laying machine.
factory, right? So they'll actually trick her, and they will make a different cell. We call it the cells, are the spots where they lay eggs. That's how the beeswax colony works. They're hexagonal shapes. They face up at about 14 degrees. And it's all the way across of what we use is called a foundation. A foundation allows the bees to make the beeswax, and then they store the honey, the pollen, the nectar, and lay the eggs in these cells.
Okay.
And it's pointing up at 14 degrees. I mentioned that part because when they store the nectar in it, it doesn't just leak right out.
Right.
They've designed it so that it actually stays in place. So when she stops laying eggs, or enough eggs, they'll trick her to lay into a different cell that's facing vertically. She won't know what she just did, but she actually laid her predecessor, and they will start to feed that the royal jelly, and they'll make a new queen without the original queen knowing. They'll keep her away from that area. Yeah. And that actual queen cell, it actually looks just like a planter's peanut. So when it's fully developed, and when it's fully developed and they know that it's just a couple of days from emerging, a queen develops in 16 days, much faster. They'll kill their own queen because they know the next queen's coming, and they will.
So they kill the queen before.
Yep.
Wow.
Sounds like
And
the
that's
Victorian
how a colony
era.
can collapse.
I feel like I'm in like the days of England kings and queens where they used to usurp each other.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how it
you asked
collapses?
you asked a good question, Ryan, about the they'll kill the queen before the other one emerges, which can be a problem because that we call them virgin queen emerges. There's no one laying eggs. That virgin queen has to go out on a mating flight, and that's somewhere in the environment up to 3 miles away, and then she has to come home, and she only goes on one flight.
And she's brand new.
She's brand new. So if she doesn't come home, the colony will collapse, and they have that one chance.
Oh, yeah.
So lots of times they lay multiple queens.
Oh, okay.
The first one to go out on her mating flight, when she returns, she kills everybody else.
Jeez. Can't even.
I kind of like these guys.
That sounds like a great novel. I'm coming up with a murder mystery. It's going to involve a queen bee.
You live for 40 days, and every day you're fearing for your life.
Yeah. But it's pretty too. I mean, they've been shown to sleep on flowers. There's a little bit of rhythms in their hearts where it looks like they might be having fun.
Oh, really?
And the pollen collectors in particular actually are showing that they're working in teams. Like they have a particular group that they want to go off with, and they'll return to the colony. When I see pollen collectors coming back, they're often coming back in groups
Oh, interesting.
With their friends.
with their friends.
Yeah.
And they do what's called a waggle dance.
They're having a pollen party.
yeah, pollen party. Yeah.
Pollen party with the waggle dance.
Yeah, so they do a waggle dance. If a bee finds a good resource, like a nectar or pollen resource, find a trash can with soda spilled, something really good, she'll come back to the colony and she does what's called a waggle dance. It's just being like super excited, and she's waggling her butt and going around the colony and trying to stir up everybody and get their attention. Once she has everybody's attention, she starts dancing in a figure 8 in the colony, and she's waggling while doing the figure 8. The amount of time that she waggles during this dance tells them the distance from the hive where this resource is.
Oh, my word.
And the orientation of the direction of the figure 8 in the colony tells them in what direction to travel. So they can tell
Jeez, these are
where this
much more
resource
evolved
is.
than I thought they were.
Yeah, from the, and then once she convinces them, that one will go off, and then they'll come back, do more waggle dances, and then all of a sudden the whole colony knows where
Where it
this
is.
resource is.
the slower ones that weren't paying attention to the first waggle dance get the second waggle dance.
Yes, yep, for sure.
That's incredible.
It's like a sugar rush.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so I wish I had known about your services, because in one of our bird houses we had what I think was a colony of bees. So I would be out back throwing the ball with the dogs, and I'd hear this zzz behind me, and I was like, not looking in there. So I could have, but you also have that service of bee removal.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I do bee removal of all species, all stinging species. Honeybees are my specialty. That's what I'm known for. We do live, safe removal and relocation of the honeybees. And then for the other stinging bees, I do non-chemical removal of wasps, yellow jackets, various other forms of stinging insects. To help the clients. And a couple years ago, or last year, I think it was, I went down a wormhole because I was taking on a lot of yellow jacket nests, and good old ChatGPT, I thought, hey, am I wasting a commodity? Found out I was. So now I'm partnered with 2 allergy companies. So when I come out and I remove the hornets from your property, they actually are frozen and sent to a lab where they extract the venom, and then they use that in immunotherapy.
Wow.
So we're saving
Really
lives
using the
with
resources.
doing the removals. Yeah.
I have to say that when a flying, buzzing thing is coming at me, I really don't look to see what it is. I just swat. So now I'm going to be afraid to swat. But honeybees are like small, aren't they? Or are they the bigger ones?
They're smaller.
They're smaller. Because like a wasp is long.
Yeah, longer. Yeah, there's
Okay.
different species. I mean, cicada killers are like huge. I'm going to do some cicada killers tomorrow. They're actually...
Cicada killers.
Yeah, I don't like doing them. They're beneficial because they eat cicadas.
Yeah.
But, clients don't like them either. But yeah, a little insight for you from wannabe expert. When you're swatting, you're making yourself a target. Bees have very bad eyesight. When you're swinging at them, you're just waving your flags. Here I am, here I am, here I am.
What about power walking away from them?
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Just start moving a lot faster.
Yes.
Bree usually screams and runs, but
Yeah.
Trees. Use a tree. Use a structure. The bees are oriented to your location. So if you put something between yourself, and the bee, it's going to have a little bit. It'll give you a break. So if they're chasing me, I'll walk under a tree in a circle, and they'll get tangled up in the tree and lose
They're
the
confused.
target. Yeah, and then you walk away.
Or maybe they find some sap and you've helped.
Yeah. So you just do a little distraction. Yeah. Walk around things.
I don't know that I can be that calm. I'm really going to try to channel my calm next time I find it.
when it's a wasp, I'm not very calm.
No, like I said, I don't think I can. I think I can tell the difference, but I get a little scared.
Well, and I don't know if you know much about wasps, but can they be aggressive?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Can they just?
Yeah.
Do they want to sting?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Bald-faced hornets, definitely.
Because honeybees, you said, really don't.
Yeah, the
want to
honeybees
sting.
know they're going to die, so they don't
Yeah.
want to sting. The wasp and hornets are actually, they've got some intelligence there too. In particular, bald-faced hornets, the largest of the yellow jacket family, they're known for tracking our eyes. So they're looking at where you're looking.
I feel like I'm in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, so if you look up at the nest, they're going to sting you. But if you could walk right up to the
Don't look at
nest
the
by
nest.
looking at the ground, and they would never even mess with you. That's why oftentimes people don't realize that they have a nest somewhere, because they didn't look at it and they didn't feel defensive, so they didn't sting them. So that's something when I'm removing them, I'm always looking away.
Yeah,
And
because
then
they'll come after you.
Yeah, and then I use a high-powered vacuum and suck them into a vacuum.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a scary job.
Yeah, for some people. For me, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so it's a rush every day.
That is amazing. So, all right. So we're going to change topic.
Yeah.
Because I do love bees now. I think I could not embrace a bee.
I like honeybees. I'm not so fond of those hornets that you just mentioned.
Just don't look at them.
Yeah, more tips. They can sense fear.
Oh, well, great. That's why they love me.
So deep breaths, and use structures, and get them tangled
Deep
up.
breath, use structure. I really have to think this through
Yeah.
when they're flying at me.
Yeah, I'll help you. Call me.
So tell us a little bit about you and your family. You said you have a wife and you have a young boy.
Yeah. I have 2 children.
Okay.
My wife's a school teacher.
Oh, awesome.
Beautiful wife. Very supportive. She's a music teacher at local high school, Indian River High School.
Oh, yeah.
And then my son is 5. He just turned 5 yesterday, and my daughter turns 8 on Tuesday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Great
it's a lot of
ages.
fun.
They're close
Yeah.
by too.
Yeah.
Close in age or close in birthdays.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's very cool. Hopefully, that one day, maybe the goal is to become successful enough that they can step into the business if they so choose.
Nobody else does that.
Well, it seems like your son is already liking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does he name his bees? His drones?
No, because we started with chickens and the fox, dude. Every time you name one, the fox
Yeah.
gets it. So it's
Oh.
like we don't name our animals outside.
You have a
'cause
lot of
you never
animals.
know.
What?
Just chickens and bees.
Just chickens and
Yeah,
bees, and they
chickens
get along.
bees.
Do
yeah.
bees sting chickens?
Certainly, if they got too close and they were upset. But the chickens help because they eat pests in the yard. So they're certainly helping. But unfortunately, we're kind of getting away from the chickens because we have a family of foxes that just won't give it up.
Well, yeah.
So
won't quit.
we're going to give it up instead.
Yeah. Stop feeding them. Maybe they'll go away and you can start again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So, do you have tours of your apiary?
I do. I do tours. You guys should come.
Yeah.
I do.
It's like team event.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I've got around 9 adult suits, but you come out and do a presentation on bees, kind of a little education firsthand, and then we suit up in a bee suit, fully suited, gloves and all, and then we go into the bee yard. We talk about what we saw, and do a little more education, and then we go into a bee colony, take you all the way through, show you everything that you're seeing, what the bees have done, hear the buzz. Everybody, we do breath work beforehand because we want everybody calm, and then if you find the queen before I do, you get a free jar of honey. And then after that situation, we do pictures over there, and then we come back and that situation with a honey tasting.
That's awesome.
That's
That's
flight
really
of
cool.
honeys. Yeah, yeah, it's fun.
So, do you make different types of honey? Or is there like does one farm kind of produce a certain type?
Yes. No to the first answer and yes to the other. So I don't make any other honeys. When we do that for the honey flight, I'm actually using other raw honeys that I've purchased, and it's to open people's eyes to the palette that there is and the range of flavors of the honey, because you might find one honey that you like more than another honey. And honey's just better than sugar. It's much healthier for us as humans. We should be eating honey,
Right.
Much more honey. And then back to the other side of the question is, yes, each farm where my bees are is producing a little bit of a different type of honey. But in order for me to properly, as a trained beekeeper, ID what it is, it has to be 51% or more one nectar source to be named that nectar source.
Oh, okay.
And I can't ID that. I have to send it to a lab, and it costs me money
Right.
to have it analyzed. So it's like, I'm a little too busy to be sending honey off to the lab and waiting
This
for
is
labels.
blueberry honey, and this is
exactly. Yeah. I mean,
this is just honey because you can just sell it as honey.
yeah, wildflower honey.
Wildflower
is
honey.
What we call
Okay.
it at that time. And this time of year, clover is the big nectar source. So I'll tell a client, it's more than likely clover honey. Earlier than that, it's tree honeys.
So
in
it
Delaware.
changes probably taste during the year then, depending on what's.
for sure.
Have you
That's really
seen
cool.
an increase in business because of kind of the push towards like fitness? And there's been more and more people.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yes.
There obviously drinking's way down nationwide, and then there's more and more people getting into fitness, and more people wanting to get local honey.
Yeah, for sure. There's a huge. How do I say this strategically? Yeah, without driving up competition. Yeah, there's a big market here, and there's a
Yeah.
big push nationally. There's a lot of people looking at their own health and seeing that, hey, honey is a safer sweetener, and there's actually a lot more benefits. It's not just a sweetener. So yeah, the business is increasing, and there's a new show coming out on Netflix, I heard, that's all about honey, and I'm like, fingers crossed, here we go, this should help.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
because
amazing.
it's all about education.
Raise awareness, yeah.
In my business, it's all about education, and we want people to be healthy. We want you to, enjoy life. So when somebody's out and they're buying funny honey from the store and it's sugar syrup, it's just eating another candy bar, more or less. And,
Right.
It's not honey.
That's
Yeah.
not honey. That's not what the bees are off, working their 40 days off for.
Aw.
So we want,
Poor bee. You don't want to disappoint the bee colony.
yeah. We want you to enjoy what you're eating and, get all the benefits from it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you because I keep thinking about this and not asking. So you have 100. Did you say 100?
Yep.
How far apart do they have to be? Or is there a distance that is like safe for them not to be like drifters? Would you call them drifters?
Yeah, drifting. Yeah. We call it population density. Yeah, so you would actually do the math of how many bees there are per colony, covering that 8,200 acres. So each colony is about 100,000 bees. So then we have 40 colonies, let's say. So we're looking at about 4 million bees. And then we do the math to the acreage. And you can certainly have too many bees on the property.
Right.
My home yard is considered the mating yard. It varies from about 60 to 40 colonies. I try to keep it less than that, but I'm just acquiring bees all the time. And then my out yards, those are the full-time apiaries throughout the county. They're all around 15 to 20 colonies. And they're the ones that are producing the most honey because they have the less competition.
Gotcha. So you're literally farming out your bees to other apiaries. They're purchasing them from you, or they rent them?
Some of these are land leases that I'm actually paying for the property.
Oh, okay.
And then there are other ones where, handshake agreements and they get some honey. I get to use their property. But they're just landowners locally who have property, who like the concepts, and they see the business and like what they see.
That's really cool. Well, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. Sadly, I could go on forever. I think I have 100 more questions for you, so maybe we'll have to have you back on. This was the Beekeeper 101, so we're going to move on to the 201.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to. Yeah,
after we do the tour, so I have to learn more. We have to do a tour. That would be really cool.
A lot more to touch on.
So Carey Apiary here in Frankford, Delaware. Patrick, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for spending your morning with us. And how do they find you online?
CareyApiary.com.
Somebody's going to have to spell that, Lou. Our producer's going to have to spell that so that we get the apiary part right, because I actually had never heard that word before.
It's pretty much how it sounds.
Apiary.
Yeah.
It's apiary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again. I wish you and your family the best as you
Thank you.
continue to expand your bee business.
Yeah.
And we look forward to bringing you our next podcast for all our listeners. And thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Whether you're looking to purchase your perfect beach getaway or retirement home, or it's time to sell your current home, the Real McCoy Group of Caldwell Banker Realty is ready to make your dreams a reality. Visit therealmccoygroup.com for more details. Find your happy place with the Real McCoy Group.